Yeah.
Cool. So we should be live. I'm going to shut that down right now. Okay, so financials. All of our major payments have gone out. For Pack the Pack went out. The limited print run for the Slash event in Seattle, the Bad Habit cards, the Bad Habit bags, and the cubes, which Rowan and I separated 100 of those. That was fun. And the printing, which I'm folding right now. So that all went out, and we have about $4,650 left.
Okay.
And we officially have one copy of Slash left to sell online. Maybe less, depending on if I miscounted by one.
One case or one copy?
One copy. We've got four. We've got 4 cases put aside for Seattle, and 4 cases put aside for Aresia, and maybe if that lasts us into packs. I mean, I don't really care if it does at this point. I just want to sell them. And Meg, you said you have a case, and Dan, you said you have a case.
Yeah, it's not a full case, but yeah, it's near full.
I don't think mine's a full case either, but I get same thing. It's near full.
Okay, is it both of you guys to bring that to Aresia?
Yeah, I'll do that.
And that we'll just combine them there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so we have a table for all 4 days at Aresia. I'm going to be manning it all the time. I didn't sign up for work over this weekend, and this is something I had mentioned to Dan, because I plan on being at the con for all the time that it's open and manning the table for all the time it's open. And for doing that, I'm going to pay myself money from our business for that time. How do we feel?
Like
because
I
think
was fine with it, because what it broke down to was like less than $10 an hour, and that's perfectly fine by me.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just I want to think about that precedent, but it makes a lot of sense.
Right. I understand. Yeah. I thought about the same thing, and I don't know. It's kind of getting to that level because it's work, and also like
It is work. Oh yeah, God, I'm the first one to say it's work.
And that was that was a large part of the conflict we had with already, right? Which is we're working the booth, but we're not paying ourselves for working the booth, so maybe we're using part of the booth money to pay for the hotel room, or maybe we're doing some other shit with it, or maybe we're comping people with tickets. I think giving people tickets to conventions that we have in exchange for them to help us out at booths, that's fine. Like, we should continue to do that. But I think the time that we put in at the booth should have a dollar value associated with it, and that should be part of the decision of whether we are committing to the convention or not. Like, do we think we're going to recoup the cost of it? Like, right now...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. My only issue is that we haven't even gotten our badges before. Like, we're giving badges to other people, but like I've never gotten my badge for any con paid for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this year, this is what we start doing, right? So like, we are going to be at PortCon, and they're giving us badges, so anyone coming with us gets the badge for it. And if you're going to be working at the booth, we'll work out a payment system for it. I don't, like Dan was saying, I don't want it to be like over $10 an hour, but I really only expect that we need like one person on at any time at the booth. Maybe it'll be different for PAX, but I don't think so, especially because the other thing is that at Aresia, we're also going to be selling stuff for the Indie Massive people, Emily and Epi and Josh and Hannah, and we get a 10% cut of any of their sales, as well as breaking down the cost of the booth and paying for the cost of the booth, in this case retroactively for us, out of what the breakdown of the sales are. So for instance, let's say at Aresia we have Slash and Bad Habit, and that's our stuff, and we're manning the booth, but we've got all these other products. Let's say we sell $1,000 and $1,000 worth of product, and it cost us $100 to get the booth. Let's just say. But $500 of that $1,000 we made was in sales from from not our products, right? So what that means is that if the original rental of the booth was $100, and half of the money we made came from products that weren't ours, half of the payment for the booth comes from the sales of the products. So if we didn't sell a single copy of our own game, but we repped other people, we would be taking 10% of their sales because we're doing work on it, and then we would also be using their sales to pay for the booth. So whoever sells the most pays the most, percentage-wise, of the cost of the booth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Because the other way to do it is, Meg is just like, fuck this, your math is stupid, I'm leaving. The other way to do it would be just to have people buy shares of the booth before seeing what they sell out of it. I just think this is not, egalitarian isn't the right word for it. It's more representative of the, if I'm hustling, our games, maybe I'm not doing as much as I could be doing for other people's products, or this is the way that they handle the indie massive stuff.
Meg says she can't hear her.
Meg's having problems, and she's out. So anyway, that's basically that. What is she saying? Okay. So that's, yeah. So we have $4,650 effectively in the bank right now. My proposal was that I end up getting paid less than or almost $10 an hour for the work at the convention. The only stuff convention-wise that I'm really interested in largely is all like the after-hours stuff. So that stuff seems fine and cool. Although I would really like to go to Meg's panel at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So Dan, if you are around, I'd love to be able to go to that panel.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can do that.
And then other than that, I can handle the rest of the shit.
What time does the booth close?
I will tell you.
I think it's 6.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's actually open like normal hours, not like overnight or anything.
Yeah, so it's Friday 5 to 9, Saturday 9:30 to 6:30, Sunday 9:30 to 6:30, Monday 9:30 to 2:30. So.
Okay. But by the way, just so you know, I am working on Martin Luther King Day, so.
I am too.
I'm not.
Okay, then it all works out.
All works out. So that ends up being 28 hours of booth time, but my plan was to take somewhere between 200 and 240, depending on really how much time I end up there if I go to that panel that Meg's on. And then, yeah. I'm driving back Friday night. I'm going to try and find some place to crash Saturday night, and then driving back Sunday night.
We have a hotel room.
Oh, can I snore on your floor?
Yeah, our kids will be in there, but you're welcome to.
Word. Excellent. That sounds great.
Yeah, and we're coming Friday night, so we have the hotel room Friday night, too.
Oh, cool. No, I've already kind of made commitment to come back here Friday night. In fact, Dan's gonna set up on Friday, and I'm probably gonna get there like right at 5, if not a little bit after that, just because I don't want to make everyone in my house come home and be like, "Fucking see you later. I gotta go." Anyway, so yeah, that's that. Um, we should talk about PortCon Maine. Although that's a little farther off, we need to get them some information in the next few weeks. We should talk a little bit about PAC, and we should talk about manufacturing stuff. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's get the manufacturing stuff out of the way.
Okay, so I've got new proof of printed tiles from China, and they look great. You know, the quality is just as good, and they just line up a lot better. There are still occasionally ones that are very, very marginally off, but it is noticeably better than the previous one. So I feel like this is as much as the wrench can be torqued for this, and I would put whatever errors are in there down to just acceptable machine variants. Like you can't cut wood as perfectly as you want to be able to cut wood. But I'm over dramatizing the ones that are off. The ones that are off are not that off at all. So they look good. I'll bring it by this weekend. You guys will get a chance to look at it. And then as soon as that's done, I want to give the go-ahead to get shit printed because we've already paid for it. And so that'll be good. And then the other thing is that I had sent an email to you guys, and I talked a little bit to Dan about this. When I got the Bad Habit stuff manufactured, I got back in touch with those guys who are in Ningbo, which is near Shanghai, I've learned, and about doing, seeing if they could print Slash for us. I sent them the specifications on it. They said that was, they were capable of doing it. And then they quoted us a price for it, which is if we were to do 1,000 copies, it would be like $545 per unit. If we were to do 2,500 copies, it would be like $450 per unit. And those are really, really, really good prices. Previously, we had been looking at 1,000 units coming in at almost, if not more than $10 per unit. And 2,500 units, which is what we did, being like, I want to say like $6.97 or something, almost $7 per unit. Of course, neither of those, none of this includes shipping. But even still, shipping would probably be between $2,000 and $3,000 once it's all arranged, and it would still be a tremendous savings. So when we had initially talked before about doing a second run of Slash, being like, well, once we get $14,000, now we're looking at less than, no, maybe about half of that is what we would need to get to. And I think after Arisia, after the Seattle show, and maybe after Total Con, we will be well within striking distance of that. So that'll be something that we need to discuss, because potentially we could have a print run back, not for PAX, but we could have a print run back before the end of the summer, which would be cool. So, because January's been weirdly stronger than I expected in terms of sales. As I said, I've got one copy left. So I don't know.
That's good. I think we should definitely do that.
Yeah. And the other thing is that, if we do end up, let's say we did end up doing 2,500 copies at $450 each, I would seriously be approaching distributors for it. And just be like, fine, put it in the stores. I don't care, because we sell it to a distributor for $9 each, but we paid $5 for it. We still made $4 on it. That's good. That's good soup. we sure will keep some for direct sales, but that shit's great. Like, get it at that point, you get it in more places. So yeah, so there's that, and then depending, I guess, on how Bad Habit goes, like I'm very hopeful, and I have been told that we will have some pouches ready for sale for this weekend. So I'm hoping that I have like a dozen or so. But then I'm going to make those available to sell online, and then, if the response on that starts getting good, I might want to take a dozen of those and mail them out to reviewers, and then see where it goes from there. And we might want to think about doing a larger run of that further down the line. It's I think that my confidence in the game comes largely from Josh continuing to tell me that it's a really good game that needs to be made. And
It is a really good game that needs to be made.
so cool. So I want to see the sales for it though. So, but it could be like a really good game that no one wants to buy, and that's fun. But I don't want to make 1,000 copies of something that nobody wants to buy.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. You could probably get, like, I don't know, I feel like that's something that we could do some research on to see if other people, like, that game is so valuable as, like, an education initiative.
Yeah, I've had a number of people, like, every time I describe the game, they're like, oh, you should give it to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I know. First I got to make them, and then, yes, we will. So, well, I think it's definitely something you put in the hands of therapists, psychologists and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that it's a therapy game, but maybe it's therapy-minded. I don't want to present something as like, here's a healing tool, when really it's just kind of a...
No. I think that game is a great dialogue.
I do too.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
The way that the educational value that I see is from the people who don't understand it. I mean, I was just presented with somebody, and they're like, I just don't get people who cut. I don't get it. And, like, they're an educator themselves. Like, they're, like, an adult who works with kids. I feel like that's the population that needs to play it. Like, just empathy a little bit, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good... I think, yeah. It's weird. Empathy weird, but important. Okay, so maybe there's that. And then... as we've been saying for the past couple of meetings, we have effectively a workable build for Camp Powerful. I really want us to get together and try and run a game of it. I think we could make a go of it. We should definitely all, at some point during this weekend, get in the same room and really talk about it, especially now that Dan's gone through it and has some questions about just general RPG stuff that maybe Meg, you and I are taking for granted because we have more experience with RPG
Absolutely. stuff. Oh, I'm sure there's a ton of places in it that have that.
No, this is ideal because, like, I know very little about RPGs from a analog RPG perspective. So I have a ton of questions because I feel like maybe it's obvious to you guys because some of it is not obvious to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's I think what we should be designing, and this goes to like what we've talked about before, we want all of our products to be approachable, right?
Yes.
And so I think we need to really keep that in mind as we're writing this out. Like, is this book presented in such a way that it invites you in, even if you don't know what the fuck RPGs are, to play this silly, maybe actually serious, kind of weird game, right? So
I think it's a wonderful world, though. I
think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I love the tone of it. I think that when it goes from like Gravity Falls, light, silly weirdness to like dark and like sinister young adult fiction, like that's a great scale to play stories in. So yeah. So I think that and some of the mechanics and some of kind of the improv structures that we've talked about putting in this, I think are novel but not alien, and so that could be really good. And just challenge targets are not. Target numbers for taking actions in role-playing games is not a complicated or broken system. It works. You just need someone who can moderate it. So there's that. Okay. So PortCon Maine. PortCon Maine is in August, and we have a table for all the days. We have 3 passes for it. I'm going to get a hotel room there. But we need to do 3 panels.
So yeah, so we talked about slash fiction after dark. I think that's brilliant.
Yep.
I think we should actually try to repeat the game making one that we did last year, and this year maybe just be a little bit more like better prepared for it. But so that leaves like one more.
Yeah. So well, I had 2 ideas, right? So I want to see what other guests are coming to the event. And I'm gonna reach out to the PortCon Maine people and see if a bunch of them could be coordinated into doing kind of a premiere panel, like on Saturday night, where basically doing Shipwrecked, but at the con, where we present people with these pairings, people who are going to be guests, and they write stories. They write slash fiction stories using pairings that we've created. They are read for the audience, and then there's an audience vote on which story wins. I thought could be something.
Amber Nash is going to be there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I thought, and the guy who plays Krieger is also going to be there.
Yeah, Lucky Yates.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
I thought,
to do like a Archer theme, like something or other.
Are you guys going to be there? That's fucking awesome.
I thought it'd be cool if we could get in, see who's going to be there, and not just those people, because there's also going to be like some cartoonists and stuff there. I think last year there were other media guests, and just get all of them to write little. Well, the hard part is getting them to write anything, but that's a maybe. And then the other thing we could do, I was thinking of doing a audience plays, like kind of like a hybrid of Slash and Family Feud, where like you kind of have these 2 teams come up, but then you're polling the audience for winning combinations, right? I'm still going over it in my head, but basically doing an audience interactive game show. This is if the Shipwreck style thing doesn't work, or doing the slash after dark like improv like slam slash stories where we throw up some combinations and people come up and deliver horrible stories about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of I think a lot of potential for events for that. I really want to get one good premiere kind of. I think PortCon Maine is a good con that we could nail a certain thing that we do, especially with Slash, that we then could bring to other cons. Be like, oh, they did it at this con and that was great. Like one of the things they do at GraniteCon and at a bunch of other places where they have a lot of voice actors is they do like a table read of like popular, like I think like Empire Strikes Back is one of the ones they've done, but they have all the different voice actors do it in different voices and stuff like that. Like I'd like to have some kind of event like that we bring with us to different conventions. So it's not just we're at a convention, it's that this thing is happening, you got to go to this because I've heard about it from all these other places. So I want to design something like that, which is a weird game. It's like gamifying conventions. Anyway, and then Total Con is also coming up, and that's in Mansfield. And we've got kind of the same arrangement going on with the Indie Massive people for selling stuff there. That's a completely different crowd than Aresia. But I think some of the products could see some movement there, especially stuff like Mobile Frame Zero will probably do really well. And yeah, I don't know, other stuff. That's me in a nutshell. Oh, the playtesting stuff. So we did that stuff at Dine, and we played some games, and that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I think like kind of what we had talked about before, where we're like doing it bi-weekly, where we're having kind of like maybe lightly curated nights of, these are the games that we're urging people to play because we want to start a discussion about like what's interesting about this mechanic or this role or this style of game or that style of game. And that's something, we played Diction, we played Mysterium, we played Masquerade, we played, what else did we play? Played Werewolf? No, we played Masquerade. I think maybe we played a single round of Werewolf just to show people what it was. Oh, no, we played a few rounds of Werewolf. But like those kinds of social interpretive games, I think that was cool. I want to keep moving in that direction, but as we have playtest, that'll be the place to bring them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really great idea, and I talked to some of the people afterwards who didn't get a chance to go to the playtest or to the event, and they were actually very curious about it. So I think it has the potential to actually kind of grow into something marginally, actually probably much larger if we go that route. So
yeah, I'd like to grow it. I think your company is a great place to host it because it's both. It feels semi-public and private at the same time, kind of like Meg, when you guys were doing the Playdate stuff at college at
Middlesex.
it has that kind of vibe where like everyone's there, but it's a weird semi-private space.
Yeah.
I like that better than the idea of trying to like make it happen at a bar. So,
Well, I mean, let me just throw out that what I think would be interesting to see happen is have it be the New Hampshire spin-off of the Game Makers Guild. So it's like an official event that will then get people we don't know to go.
Oh, I think that's. I don't know how I feel about that.
Because if you just keep playing with people you know, you don't get good feedback. You have to get.
That's true, but yeah, that's a really good point. But the other, I guess my other hand is that the Game Makers Guild people are a very self-selected audience, and I am not always super interested in what they have to say.
I don't think they would go. It would be the people who are interested who don't want to drive to Boston.
Oh, that's true. But would they be notably different? These are all interesting questions. I mean, there's certainly no reason not to open it up to those people. So, yeah. Whatever. Let's do it. And then this Thursday night, I'm going to teach people how to play X-Wing, which is a great game.
Thursday night?
Yeah, Double Midnight. They're having the cover artist for the new Star Wars series is signing stuff there, and so Double Midnight was like, does anybody want to teach people to play X-Wing? And I'm like, fuck yes. I will.
I would really love to go to that. I'm going to be down in Mass though, helping.
Oh yeah, Dan and Ali move, right?
But also seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It's just DeGrasse. I don't think it's not like junior high. It's not Degrassi.
Whatever.
One's a Canadian high school. The other's an astrophysicist.
But I like the idea of Neil deGrasse Tyson in Degrassi. That would be.
Well, yeah. What if there was like a Neil deGrasse Tyson high?
And he's like the awesome astrophysicist principal.
Yep. Yeah. Whoa.
we got a badass over here.
Yeah, we got a badass, and she's teen pregnant. So. Okay, so Dan, when are you going down on Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday morning or evening?
Wednesday after work.
Okay, I should be able to get to you by then with whatever stuff I have for you to bring. which, fingers crossed, is our banner stands, which are supposed to be here by Wednesday, are supposed to be delivered anytime between today, which didn't happen, and Wednesday by 8 p.m. So maybe that'll happen. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have them, and then I'll drop those off to you. We are almost out of business cards. Do you guys have any of those?
No, I don't have. I don't. No, I don't have any. I have like the pack ones, but I only had a couple of the other ones.
We have this many business cards left.
I have a few.
Okay.
I can dig them up somewhere.
Yeah.
The business cards or the GPD Amon cards?
The GPD Amon cards.
I might have a few of those.
Okay, well, bring whatever you can to Aresia. Let's get them all in the same place, and then when we run out, it's probably, what the hell is this? $20, 25, $30, somewhere in there to reorder them, and I think it's totally worth it. So, yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna keep folding stuff and finish watching stupid anime nonsense.
Okie doke. Yeah, I don't. The only thing for me was figuring out Aresia this weekend, which sounds like we figured it out. So, and then I will. I've gone through and rewritten about a third of the Camp Powerful document, so that's good. I haven't rewritten any of the mechanics, but that should be pretty easy. So, because it's just instruction, that's not a problem.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I like the idea of us trying to get together and talk about it, though.
Yeah, no, I'll see if I can whip up a more complete iteration before we get to Aresia.
Okay, cool.
All
right, man. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
See you Friday.